It's Beef Flex. I want to talk to you guys about building muscle, right? And the most efficient ways that you can build muscle in a short time as possible. This is a response to a comment saying if I have any quick tips to bulk up quick but still keep the six pack, right? So basically how to build muscle but stay lean. So I want to firstly explain that you're not going to build a whole bunch of muscle in a short period of time. Okay, we need to get realistic. There's a bunch of inaccurate posts on IG saying how much muscle you can build in a year and your second year of training, your third plus year of training, which is not accurate at all. In fact, it's actually false. And I want to clarify this. In your first year of training, you can build up to 12 pounds of muscle if you have good muscle building genetics. Not good genetics, this depends on what you classify as good genetics, but good muscle building genetics. If you're an ectomorph, which is not optimal for building muscle, you can build around 8 pounds of muscle in a year. Okay, of course there are outliers. If you have really good genetics, you can probably build way more. Like myself, if you have trained before, quit, and then came back into training, you'll probably build more because you're building new muscle alongside the muscle you're putting back on that you already had. Okay, this is about muscle nuclear. But anyway, that's how much muscle you can build in a year. So you're not going to build a whole bunch. However, when you do think about how much that is, if you ever get like 10 pounds of meat, for example, from the shop, from the store, and you see how much meat that is, you pack that on your body, you realize how much muscle that actually is. So you can build a good amount. You can definitely build enough to look very different and very impressive, but you will not look insanely huge. Now, there are, of course, methods like bulking. Personally, I do not agree with that because you end up building a bunch of fat, which makes you think you build a lot of muscle, but actually you haven't because you only build a little bit more muscle. I would say up to 20% more muscle than you would do if you didn't bulk, if you just if you just gained your muscle in a lean way that was slower, right? 20% more, which is not that much. That basically means if you built 10 pounds of muscle, like natural and not bulking, whatever. If you were bulking, you'd build 12 pounds of muscle. That's just 2 pounds, right? But add in the fact that you build so much more fat, and you seen my video on fat, right? You can't get rid of the fat cells, so you end up actually messing things up for yourself. So I would never bulk. I would just build muscle in a lean way. Again, when you do bulk, even though you might think, oh snap, you know what, these 2 pounds is still 2 more pounds of muscle, right? That's a fifth of a year. But when you put in account the time that you need to cut all that body fat off, right? And if when you cut, you end up losing some muscle. Depending on how quickly you cut, you can not lose muscle, but if you cut in a really short period of time, you will lose some muscle, right? So think about it, right? It's better to just build muscle slowly but in a lean way. Now, that being said, I want to go over the 3 most effective ways to build muscle when it comes to working out. Okay, so the first thing is time under tension. When you work out, you want to have a lot of time under tension for each muscle, and this you want to aim for around 45 seconds of time under tension. Okay, now the average set that people generally train tends to be around 26 seconds of time under tension. When it comes to building muscle, you need to increase that, right? Almost double that number, right? To 45. This is not when it comes to strength. This is when it comes to muscle. Now, this doesn't mean that your rep range needs to be higher. You can do 6 reps or you can do 20 reps, right? You can do 6 slow reps and controlled reps, or you can do 20 fast and not so controlled reps. Personally, I would lean towards the lower rep range that's more controlled. Say now you finished the weights, you finished as much as you could, right? You can't do full complete reps and you've only got 30 seconds of time under tension. Do some half reps, but make sure you're still doing them safely to get up to that 45 seconds of time under tension. This is very effective for building muscle. Second thing is high volume training. So this kind of is linked to time under tension because, the time is kind of like volume in a way, but this is specifically speaking about sets. You want to be doing a whole bunch of sets. You don't want to be doing 3 sets if you want to build muscle. You want to do 5 sets minimum. Personally, I believe in doing 10 sets per exercise. Now, a lot of people are like, yo, 10 sets per exercise? This means that I'm going to be doing like 100 sets by the time I leave the gym, right? Simplify your workouts. Don't be doing all kinds of workouts. Just keep your workouts simple and do the necessary exercises. But make sure that you're doing 10 sets minimum. For example, you can be benching for 20 sets. And that can be your entire chest and tricep workout. You don't need to be doing tricep extensions, chest flies. Just keep it simple and do high volume. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do all these other exercises. You can. I'm just saying in general, you can stick to a good exercise and do a lot of high volume. Now, finally, it's high frequency. High frequency training is very important when you want to build muscle. Okay, so this means, of course, if you want to maintain what you have, train once a week, right? Each muscle group. If you want to grow, train twice. If you want to optimize your growth, train 3 times. Of course, this is with recovery, right? 3 times a week, each body part, each body group, right? This, everyone already knows that the bro split is not effective, and not as effective. It can be, of course, but not as effective. So for example, if you're doing push pull, try to do push pull even on the same day. Push in the morning, pull in the evening, right? 3 times a week, and then legs on the other days. And when it comes to high frequency, yet again, doing 2 workouts a day is very effective when it comes to building muscle. So basically, there's this gene, right, called myostatin. It's this gene that stops muscles from growing too big, right? And everybody has myostatin. Some people have a deficiency, some people have more than other people. Now, your levels of myostatin can dictate how much muscle you can build. In fact, women and elderly people have much higher myostatin than young men. This is why it's harder to build muscle when you're older, and also why women naturally don't build as much muscle as men. So if you want to build muscle, a very wise thing to do is to decrease your myostatin levels. And the best natural way to decrease your myostatin levels is to work out. Post-workout, your myostatin levels decrease up to 40%, right? And this continues to around 8 hours after your workout. After 8 hours, your myostatin levels rise back up. So by training twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, you can keep suppressing your myostatin levels, meaning that your protein synthesis is optimized, and also you optimize the amount of growth hormone that you have in your body. Now that's it. Of course, there are other things like making sure that you're sleeping more than 7 hours a day. I would aim for like 9 hours if you can, if you're grown, or if you're younger, around 10 hours. Also, you want to increase your water intake. You want to drink 2 liters minimum, but if you want to optimize your gains, you want to aim for that 3 liter to 4 liters of water a day. You want to up your protein because, of course, unless you're bulking, your body might use some protein for energy. So you want to make sure you're having around about 1 gram per pound of body weight. And then finally, there is a supplement that you can use to aid you, a natural supplement to aid you in building muscle, which is creatine, right? You don't even need to supplement it. You can also eat meat. You can find creatine in meat, right? So you can eat fish and pork and beef and stuff like that. They're high in creatine. As for vegans and vegetarians out there, you're not likely going to get enough creatine naturally from food. So supplementing might be the way forward for you guys, but this is just a suggestion. But yeah, creatine can also help you build muscle. It does decrease myostatin to some degree as well, which yet again is an amazing pathway for building muscle. So yeah, those are the 3 most effective, plus obviously those 4 extra bonuses to building muscle as fast as you can. But remember, be realistic with your goals. Don't be crazy with what you want to build in a certain amount of time. And also, even though I said it might take you longer than you expect to build the physique that you want, don't then let that put you off, because what might happen is you think, man, it's going to take me this long to build muscle. You know what? I'm not going to do it. And then you end up putting off your goals. Now, let's say it would take you 2 years to get to your physique. 2 years later, you're like, snap, if I had just started, I would have had the physique by now. So stop putting it off. But anyway, that's it. It's B4Flex, and I'm out. B4Flex.